RACER was a long-term vision. The idea originally came to Jeff Swart and myself when we were driving to a photo shoot. We barely knew each other. We were having a conversation to get to know each other. It was fascinating because we had similar views on the best magazines in the world, what they had, and how someday we wanted to create a magazine like the best in Europe and Japan. And we made a commitment to ourselves that we would someday. And we stayed on it. It took a long time, but we stayed on it. Most magazines were text and information driven rather than photographic or art illustration content driven. They were not intended to move you emotionally, at least in the motorsport space. They were there to report on something. And we felt that there was an opportunity to convey the essence or the spirit of racing, why people race, the beauty of it, the detail of the technology, and do it driven by images and design. That was a bit of a radical concept at the time because there was a belief you couldn't deviate from delivering news and reportage. They were still covering races in their entirety in magazines at the time we originally launched this.
And I think RACER magazine still provides a certain context that you don't get just from the internet and you don't get just from dailies or weeklies. I think we take not a step back, but we certainly take a wider view, and it gives us the space, it gives us the presence to be able to provide context, but also to celebrate the sport as well. We can actually look at it and enjoy it as part of a bigger picture.
From my standpoint, I was a photographer, so I wanted, someplace. I loved racing. I was shooting a lot of races and racing photos all over the world. And, for the most part, it was represented on the back few pages of a magazine in black and white, or not on very nice paper or anything. It just wasn't presented in a really great way. Of course, there were automotive photographic magazines, but not really racing magazines that had anything at that level. So it was special to me to go and be part of a magazine that was going to be very photographic.
The way we design RACER, it's a book, it's a collectible. Each page is as important as the next. Nothing's ever just throwaway. And I think it's important to keep that up. It's a cutting edge sport, and I want our designs to reflect that.
RACER readers are basically the same as the guys who are making RACER. Without saying that we're making the magazine for ourselves, we are the same as the readers in terms of, loving the sport, celebrating the sport, criticising the sport when it needs to be, but in a way, we're all on the same journey.
From the beginning, this was more than a magazine. The intention was always to make it more than a magazine. And we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of RACER, but we were effectively an agency before that.
So the great thing about having RACER magazine and the RACER brand behind RACER Studio is that it just provides such a great calling card for our services and what we offer. Our clients know the RACER brand and they know the quality that it stands for, and it makes the transaction with them so much easier because there's a confidence in what we do, and the fact that it's been for 25 years means that we know what we're talking about when we are consulting with them about any of their positioning or ideation needs.
There were two people that we actually knew quite well, Roger Penske and Chip Ganassi, and you looked at the level that they were entering in racing and racing at that time. It was almost an onus on us to present racing at that level.
So RACER reflects the sport by telling the stories of the sport. We're not just about the third decimal point after the mile per hour. We're actually about the meaning of the sport, the heroes, the technology, everything that makes this sport so exciting, so cutting edge, so relevant. We're exploring that. We're exploring it through the people. We're exploring it, yes, through the machinery, but it basically begins with the people and the events and the context.
Being a racer is a state of mind. It's a state of being. And I think of the magazine as a being, a thing. that is got life to it, and that life comes from our really talented editors and writers and photographers and illustrators and the people we do it for. We know who we work for. We work for the readers, and we're never confused about it. Everything we do is one, to show them that we get it and that we agree with them that this is worthy of something like RACER.